But maybe behind your question, you have another question, which is how to, and for me, that's the question of the US or question of Europe. When you are in competition, we are in a global competition. When you are in competition with China, with India, of course, we are not going to be competitive in terms of wages. We are not going to be competitive in terms of pensions. We are not going to be competitive in terms of environmental conditions. So if we are also not competitive in terms of electricity price, wow, what is going to be our future?
Richard Tolman, Corporate Perspectives in Columbia University. I wondered if you talked about the importance of a long-term energy policy. I wondered if you could sketch out your view of what that would look like for the United States. And then secondly, given the fact that I think we're in a uniquely fear-driven environment between the nuclear concerns from Japan, the BP concerns of offshore drilling, the unknown shale oil environmental concerns, the concerns that we feel about a Canadian pipeline for natural gas, is it even conceivable we could actually have such a policy in a world of those kind of fears?
As I said, I think that you have no silver bullet in the energy mix. You can criticize all the sources and so on. So we need diversification. We need diversity into the energy mix. An energy policy, I think that in the US you are very well placed because historically you have been always obsessed by energy. Energy policy, foreign energy policy. It's in the DNA of the US. Look at the relationship with Saudi Arabia. You have it in DNA, much better than Europe. Europe, energy, if I have the time, yes, maybe one day. No. China is obsessed by that. Russia is obsessed by energy. So I think, of course, it's you are much better place than me to say that. But I think that you have to recreate in the U.S. roots. You have invented nuclear here. Why this industry has disappeared or almost disappeared? So I think that the reindustrialization of our nations is a key issue. This idea that, okay, we are going to have industry, we are going to have a future in our countries, but without industry. And it's not an important issue. Industry is going to take place in China and India, and that's not important. We have the brains. No, it doesn't work like that. So I am intimately convinced that if we want to have a future, we need industry. And if we want industry, we need to have an energy policy.
Doesn't get the question whether it's possible or not until we get over our politics of every particular subject. We're going to have trouble.
And of course, it has to. I think an energy policy has also to be a consensus in the country, because you cannot change of an energy policy every 4 years. It's absolutely impossible. You need to have 20, 25, 30 years ahead of you. So you need to have a bilateral consensus to say, okay, on that, we do agree. That's the strength, for instance, in Great Britain. In Great Britain, they are very, very clear, all of them, about the energy policy. What a strength.
So, Paul Richards from Columbia University. In your remarks, you spoke of the merits of transparency. And on the question of degree, my question is there a change of policy here in this matter? And perhaps to fix ideas, there would be the concept of a radionuclide monitoring network whose data would be publicly available and which would be good enough even to give information on the state of health of nuclear reactors. That's a level of transparency which, it's my understanding, has not been comfortably thought about in your country.
In the US?
In France.
In France?
Yes.
Why?
Well, that's my question.
No. The level of transparency in France, if If we go back to the 60s, it was in France, or to the 70s, it was in France like in the other countries in the Western world. So it means, okay, nuclear is made for specialists. It's a matter among a few number of politicians, a few number of experts, a few number of industrialists, and that's it. It has totally changed. So it means that now the safety authority is fully independent, and I must say it's very severe. We like to complain often, but I think that it is excellent because we need to have independent bodies able to do and to decide whatever they want, including to close a nuclear plant, including to close a nuclear installation, including to say everything about what we do. I know it's really situation has totally changed in this matter, and I think it is excellent. And I may say some days we are ourselves, they exaggerate, blah, 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 blah. That's normal. And when people within the company are complaining and they say, wow, that's totally unfair, they put on the website that, they made a public declaration on, I said, that's life, that's normal life. No, I do think that it is really the prerequisite for nuclear, and that the new countries for nuclear have to develop exactly the same kind of things in a very transparent way. Of course, during the good days it's well seen, and during the bad days it's difficult to accept it, but that's good. No, I do think that democracy in this domain is key.
Todd Johnson from Ferrari Consultancy. I'm wondering, rightly or wrongly, your experience, AREVA's experience in Finland is often pointed to in the press as an example of the major bureaucratic and costing hurdles that face advanced reactor designs. And I'm wondering if you could comment on some of the lessons learned from that experience and maybe correct, in your mind, some of the misconceptions from the Finland experience. Thank you.
Not misconception, but that was the first of a kind of this third generation plus reactor built up in Finland, built up in Europe, built up in the world. When you are the first of a kind, after 27 years without any construction in Finland. So we are going to build up this nuclear plant. We are fortunately at the end of this process. In 92 months, which is compared to the track record of, for instance, the average of construction in the US for second generation, so a smaller one and simpler ones. The average, I think, is 110 months in average. So for the first of a kind, we are going to do it in 22 months. Number 3 and number 4 EPRs we are building up in China, we are going to build them in 46 months. And it's 1,600 megawatts. So compared to 1,000 megawatts of second generation, so it's much bigger. 46 months. Without, we have also lessons learned. We have simplified the design. We have learned a lot from also the experience of the Chinese, especially in civil works. They are excellent. I have to say that. They are cheaper and they are excellent. And so we are now comfortable. For number 5 and number 6, we are like that. So, the first one is going to cost us some, but we have taken all the provisions, and we hope that our customer is going to spontaneously give us some money for that.
Yes.
Yeah, my name is Wade Green. I work for the Rockefeller Family and Associates. I've been doing research and advising on philanthropy, mainly in energy issues, for several decades now. And I came here particularly to hear a view I don't hear a lot, because I travel partly in alternative energy circles here. And so I'm glad to hear it directly. There is a body of analysis, some of which my principles have supported, that says you can do it without energy efficiency, and renewables can do the whole job without nuclear, without coal for that matter. Nobody's mentioned coal, but coal is often posed by the nuclear industry as another specter out there, which the nuclear industry claims to be a better alternative, which I probably would agree with. Frank von Hippel, who's a very prominent expert at Princeton on both nuclear energy and nuclear arms, was quoted in his he said in his op-ed piece in the Times a few weeks ago that it'll be 25 years before another nuclear plant will be built in this country. The head of Exelon, the largest single operator of nuclear plants in this country, says there will be no new nuclear plants for a long time, especially with the price of gas as low as it is. So is your company, in fact, hedging its bets by moving more into what I would call greener areas, as is Exelon itself, which was just announced as talking about merging with what I would consider a greener renewables company? Is that not partly what's happening? Or do you really see that, especially post-Japan, that the U.S. is going to increase its nuclear capacity or even be able to sustain some of it that's already there?
You know, I'm not going to discuss your opinion and your analysis, but I think that first, our customers have to make the decisions. So ourselves, we have an offer. I think that our offer has to be as good as possible, as with the best technologies, available technologies, the best services, and so on. So we have this offer in nuclear, so we are fully integrated in nuclear. We have we are the one-stop shop for the utilities, starting by uranium till recycling, including the construction, but also the installed base, services, maintenance, and so on. And we have this renewables, so we are in offshore wind, solar, biomass, and storage of electricity. If I look our two activities, nuclear and renewables, I may say that we are in a significant growth on both sides. So nobody can predict what is going to happen in the different parts of the world. We have this offer. We are at the services of our customers, and they are going to make choices. So I have no capacity of prediction to say, in renewables, we have finished last year, we have achieved last year with more than 2 billion euros of, so $3 billion of orders in renewables. We have 46 billion euros of orders in nuclear. So our backlog is not bad. Almost 50 billion euros. So let's go.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think it's also important to remember that all of the renewables require base load behind them, because we haven't figured out how to store. Until we figure out how to store, we're always going to have coal, oil, gas, or nuclear. In any event, I want to thank our presenter today and thank all the members for their attention. But thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching this Council on Foreign Relations video. For additional audio, video, and transcripts of CFR meetings, as well as expert analysis of international news, please visit us online at cfr.org.